All right, we are back on record in this matter for the initial disposition of Mr. Schuyler Stage. Given some time for Mr. Brooks to talk with his client, who was not provided right away from Hillsdale, so we had a little bit of a delay that way, and then of course for that conference. But at this time, we're ready to get started, and I know you have a preliminary, Mr. Brooks, but we're just going to do some appearances first.
Lee Heiss, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ricky,
Michael Brooks, I represent Mr. Stage, Your Honor. Mr. Stage, identify yourself, please.
Schuyler Stage.
Okay, Ms. Thomas, do you want to introduce your caseworker today?
Yes, Ms. Nolan, you can put your appearance on the record, please.
My name is Ricky Ann Nolan.
All right, preliminary matter, Mr. Brooks.
Two of them, in fact, Your Honor. I do not have a copy of the petition from Branch County, so I don't know what the allegations are against my client. And number two, I find no paperwork in my paperwork, that shows he's ever been adjudicated, and he tells me he has not been adjudicated.
Okay, well, as I recall, Mr. Brooks, the last time we were here, we adjourned in order to allow some time to revise the case services plan. And I hand delivered a copy of the petition and adjudication order to you before you left the courtroom that day.
If that's the case, I have sadly got to admit I misplaced it. And if that's the case, I'll take the court's word for it. And we'll move on to the case service plan, for which I currently have no objections.
All right. I can ask my clerk's office to email you over another copy, at least of those two documents. But yes, your client did undertake an adjudication before the case was transferred.
The petition is kind of different in this case because it's on the JCO 4B. There's just some language on there, and I think that is the entire petition. There isn't a separate document.
And Mr. Brooks, I did resend the email with that order of adjudication. I think I sent it September 25th or something like that. And then I just forwarded it so your office can have that for your file.
Well, I'm embarrassed enough as it is, but thank you. Thank you. I will get a hold of it, but I was going to take the court's word for it anyway, that she has in her possession the adjudication. At our last hearing, what I did was I objected to the case service plan as being unrealistic, and I withdraw my objection to the new case service plan.
And
Right.
for the record, I will say that my file was missing that order of adjudication as well. So it took me a minute to obtain it, and I did pass it along. So I think it just stands for itself. We all sort of were missing some pieces.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, Ms. Thomas, we're having a little trouble with your microphone here this afternoon. If you could maybe play with that a bit. I do have a proposed case service plan. Mr. Brooks, I'm glad you've had a chance to look at that and talk with your client about it. Would you like to proceed with testimony today, Ms. Thomas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, your microphone's better, much better, thank you. Okay, Deputy Ames, if you could swear in our caseworker, please.
You may be seated. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. All right, could we have your name one more time?
I'm sorry,
Name
Ricky
one more-
Ann Nolan.
I'm sorry, what?
Ricky
Okay,
Ann Nolan.
Thank you. Spell it for us, just in case.
RICCIANNE, Nolan, NOLEN.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Thomas?
Thank you. Ms. Nolan, you are the foster care worker in this case, correct?
Yes,
And you prepared you prepared and provided to the court and parties the current proposed case service plan, correct?
yes,
And in this proposed case service plan, it looks like there are 3 different timeframes, so to speak. One for current incarceration, and if there's further incarceration through a prison system, and then for release. Do you believe that those elements are tailored to meet Mr. Stage's current situation and the conditions that cause the child to come into care?
yes.
And the current goal for the child, what is the current goal for the child?
The current goal for the child is to be reunified with his mom.
Would you mind moving that microphone closer to you?
Yes.
It's that
This
bigger
piece?
piece. Yep. Thank you very much.
It is to be reunified with his mom.
And or any parent, correct?
Correct, yes.
And currently, were you able to inquire from Hillsdale Jail whether parenting time is an option?
Parenting time is an option. We are going to probably give him about 15 minutes or as long as the baby will do it. I have talked to him on the 28th of September and we have discussed this.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And to the best of your knowledge, has Mr. Sage been able to engage in any voluntary services?
No, he states he has nothing there to offer. So I have talked to him about sending him a book. And then I will send him chapters that go with the book that has exercises, worksheets, and activities that he will do and then send them back to me.
Wonderful. And you did prepare a court report for the last hearing. Sorry, my computer screen just went on me. Was there anything from your court report that needed to be updated or modified other than the case service plan?
No,
And the child still remains in a foster placement?
yes, she does. We are in the,
Oh, I was just going to ask, I know that you are very aware that there are inquiries, I guess, from the family as to whether a family or relative placement would be appropriate. Do you have any update on that process?
I have been to each of their homes and we are assessing them now. All 3 of them have a lot of CPS history. So we're kind of trying to weed out the information and go through the process.
And to the best of your knowledge, was that thoroughly explored when the case was managed by the other county?
No, it was not.
Okay, thank you for your efforts and also to remedy that. Is there anything that you would like to report to the court outside of what you've just testified to?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Nolan and would move to admit the court report with the new proposed case service plan.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received. Questions, Mr. Brooks?
Ma'am, is one of the people, the family members that you have interviewed or investigated, Danielle Sheehan?
Yes,
All right. You've been to her home and checked that out as well?
yes,
Is she still being considered as a potential placement for this child?
Yes, everyone's still considered, nobody, we're looking at all, there's 3 different parties.
All right, I understood that, but I just wanted to make sure she's one of them that you're looking at.
Okay,
I have no further questions.
I have no questions today, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anyone you'd like us to hear from today, Mr. Brooks?
Mr. Stage, is there anything you want the court to know?
Oh, I did have to mute his microphone because we had a lot of noise coming from there. So let me invite him to unmute.
Mr. Stage, is there anything you want the court to know before we close the hearing?
Yes, sir. I want to bring it to your guys' attention.
You've got to be
that-
sworn, sir, you've got to be sworn under oath.
Deputy Ames, would you please swear in Mr. Schuyler Stage?
Mr. Stage, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, what is it you want to tell the court?
I just want to bring it to your guys' attention that Bonnie's parents are the ones that introduced me to methamphetamines, which started my addiction. Just for the concern of my daughter, I just wanted to bring that to the court's attention. And that's all I
Anything
have.
else? Okay, anything else?
No, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Stage, were you ever married to the mother of your child, Ms. Bonnie McGee?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Did you sign an affidavit of parentage, or how do you know that you are the legal father of the parent of the child?
I signed her birth certificate.
All right. Any questions, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Heiss?
No questions. Thank you.
All right. Very good. Anyone else today, Mr. Brooks?
One other question, Your Honor. Mr. Stage, what state was this child born in?
She was born in Branch County, Coldwater, Michigan.
Are you sure you didn't sign what's called an affidavit of parentage?
I signed the birth certificate. I was there, I cut her umbilical cord and everything.
All right, thank you. I have nothing
Yes,
further.
sir.
Okay. Anyone you want us to hear from today, Ms. Heiss?
Your Honor, I would just like to report that I visited with the child through Zoom. She is in a very capable foster care placement that is meeting all of her needs, and there is an adult home 24 hours a day with her. She is progressing in growth in language, and it's my recommendation that we continue that placement pending either reunification or a relative is found. Generally, we like to move these children within 30 days, and I'm hoping that she, if there is a move, that we do it sooner rather than later. Thank you.
All right. Anything in closing, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks?
Thank you, no.
Very good. All right. Well, the court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's initial disposition hearing for Mr. Stage. I have also reviewed the proposed case services plan. Thank you very much, Ms. Nolan, for your efforts in revising this and in organizing parenting time. I do have to give you a new homework assignment today, which is to track down a copy of any affidavit of parentage or other evidence of legal parentage for Mr. Schuyler Stage.
I have CPS already on top of that.
Good, thank you. Let us know as soon as you, frankly, as soon as you find anything on that. If you could circulate that to the attorneys so that they can submit it to us. We need that to show that Mr. Stage is in fact both the legal and biological parent. It's for all practical purposes.
I've come up with another question, if I may, Your Honor. Is that all right?
I suppose. I don't know
I'll
what the
make it-
question is yet.
Judge, I'll make it quick. Ma'am, to your knowledge, has anybody inquired of this couple? Whether either of them has any Native American heritage?
Yeah, they do not.
All right, thank you, that's all.
Okay, all right. Let's follow up on that just briefly with Mr. Stage as well. Mr. Schuyler Stage, do you know if you have any reason to believe that you or your child would be eligible, are tribal members, or would be eligible for enrollment in any Native American tribe or band?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for confirming.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have some information in the initial petition indicating Ms. Shelby Stage denied Native American heritage as well. But if you could follow up on that as well for our next report, that would be great to have that confirmed, because I know sometimes parents don't always think of it right away. So we'll just double check that with Ms. Shelby, or with the mother of the child as well, Ms. Bonnie McGee. Thank you. All right, we want to make sure if the child here is eligible, that she receives those benefits, and we adhere to those protocols if we need to. All right, as it relates to the case services plan, it is much more tailored to what's happening with Mr. Stage's circumstances, and sets forth a good plan for him, including visitation and building that bond or continuing that bond with his child. And it will become part of the court's order. It does not appear that there has been any progress, or significant progress made, I should say, in order to alleviate the risk of harm associated with returning the child to either parent today. Mr. Stage is obviously unavailable to take placement at the moment, having to deal with his incarceration, and we do not have enough services on Ms. Bonnie McGee as of yet to be able to return the child safely to her care without the risks that have been initially identified, which is that usage of methamphetamine and amphetamine. So we'll be looking for the updates on that and her progress, hopefully, at our next review hearing, which has already been scheduled. So it'll be a bit of a quick turnaround for Mr. Stage, but I would like to have both parents on the same path. So we'll set Mr. Stage's first review with the review that's already been set for Ms. McGee, and that will be on November 8th at 1:30 p.m. In the meantime, the child will remain in her foster care placement. Again, thank you, Ms. Nolan, for continuing to investigate the relative placement options for this child, and we'll look forward to those updates at our next review hearing. Thank you, Ms. Heiss, for your efforts. We certainly find you in satisfaction of your obligations as well.
Thank you.
And unless there's any questions, that's all for today.